bought me a telescope, and I would go and set it up at night, cold out, wintry day. And I remember the first time I saw Saturn, the little rings, and I was just into it. I couldn't stop. And a couple weeks later, my mother brought me a book. Walter Sullivan, it was the late New York Times science writer. It was called We Are Not Alone. And it was about life, extraterrestrial life, the fact that we were not alone in this universe. And this young man, 15, 16 years old, could not get enough of UFOs and the unexplained. And I decided at that young age I wanted to go into broadcasting. I'm going to uncover these stories. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to unravel them. I'm going to interview the people who know what they're talking about when it comes to life out there in the universe. And I did. At 21 years old, I was a radio reporter in Detroit. And those of you who listen to Coast may know this story. My very first radio interview, 21 years old, 1971, was Stanton Friedman. Very first one. Amazing. And you know what? I've aged since 1971. If you look at Stanton Friedman then and now, the guy hasn't aged a bit. He is an extraterrestrial. But it was a great interview. But I had to fight my news director tooth and nail to do this. I saw this little clipping in the Detroit News, and it said, Stanton Friedman, former nuclear physicist, is going to be talking at a university about UFOs. And I said, I'm going to go cover this. And the news director says, no, you're not, George. There are fires and city council meetings and murders we need to cover in Detroit. I'm not going to cover UFOs. And I said, well, I'm going to do it on my own time then. And he said, go ahead. And I went out there and I interviewed Stan, and I have never stopped interviewing Stan. He's been a great interview. And you know how Stan talks when he gets going. As a matter of fact, the question that I asked him back in 1971, if we see him tonight at the banquet, and I'm sure we will, he'll still be giving us the final part of the answer.